Let's take a look at that tournament. It was a single elimination tournament. On the first night, in an interesting matchup, Stunning Steve Austin defeated Arn Anderson. The Great Muta defeated Barry Windham. Masahiro Chono, the eventual winner, defeated Tony Halme. And also the final match of the first night saw Scott Norton defeat Bam Bam Bigelow. And then the second night, the first round continued with Kensuke Sasaki defeating Jim the Anvil Neidhart. The Tailor-Made Man advanced over Hiroshi Hase due to an injury forfeit by Hase. Shinya Hashimoto defeated the Barbarian, and Ravishing Rick Rude defeated the Super Strong Machine. And that took us to the quarterfinals, where Stunning Steve Austin lost to the Great Muta. Chono defeated Norton. Sasaki defeated Taylor, and Rude defeated Hashimoto. The semifinals saw the Great Muta lose to Chono, and Rude defeated Sasaki, and that pitted Chono and Rude in the finals. And Chono won that match to win the NWA Heavyweight Championship. And we're going to be showing you some highlights of that tournament on Wednesday, September the 2nd, during the Clash of the Champions live on TBS in prime time. And a man that will certainly be a part of that broadcast, as I'll be working with him on that, as I do on all the pay-per-views and classes. Jesse the Body Ventura is here in Atlanta. And Jess, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jim. Always a pleasure to be on your show.
You was today the first time you had been broadcast an event from the Omni?
Today, actually, Jim Ross, is my first time setting foot in the Omni.
Oh, really?
If you can imagine that. Yeah, throughout my career, back in the old territorial days, I never really did get down to the South, and then never had the chance to wrestle on the Omni. Today was my first visit.
I saw a friend of yours yesterday in Tampa, Gene Deckeroff.
You did.
And he wishes you well, and he was, of course, broadcasting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers victory over the Atlanta Falcons, and he is a class man.
Oh, yeah, Gene Deckeroff, phenomenal. Gene and I used to talk wrestling, and we used to talk football when I was down there doing the Bucks, and, of course, we've talked Ron Simmons, our world heavyweight champion, many times down there.
And speaking of Ron Simmons, Jess, this is a very special athlete. I was talking to Bobby Butler of the Falcons on the way back from the stadium to the airport a week before last when we were in Cleveland, and he said that, and I didn't realize this, Bobby was the fastest man on the Florida State team. I can believe that.
Yeah.
But he said the second fastest man on the entire squad in the 40 was Ron Simmons, and I was amazed by that statement.
I would be amazed too. I mean, because here you got a defensive lineman who's out there outrunning running backs and DBs and all that. But like you said, Jimmy, he is an exceptional athlete. He's probably a little bigger right now than he was when he played his college ball. But it's still, it's phenomenal that he would have that kind of speed.
I think that the thing that I like right now, as it's starting to shape up, is the fact that the WCW promoters and the administration seem to be very interested in Simmons defending the championship against any top contender, and that would mean friend or foe. Obviously, Jake Roberts had an impact on Sting getting his rematch in Baltimore against Big Van Vader, but a Sting-Simmons matchup intrigues me.
Oh, they all do. I made the statement today when I was broadcasting from the Omni with Tony Schiavone. I said, in this business, the minute you become the champion, you have no friends anymore. When you're not the champion, you develop certain friendships at times and certain alliance or allegiance with certain wrestlers. But the minute you become the world heavyweight champion, you have no friends. It's actually a very lonely position to be in because everybody is gunning for you because you're the top dog.
Jess, an interesting situation developed today when Michael Hayes came to the ring with Arn Anderson and beautiful Bobby Eaton. Now, even though that will not air for a week or so, whatever, on syndication, I was really surprised. Now, what do you know about that situation? What did you say about it?
Well, the only thing that I know, of course, there was a deal struck that Anderson and Eaton were going to derail the Steiners to keep them off of Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Des Steve Williams, the champion. Well, I found that a bit peculiar to begin with when I heard about that deal, because I know Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton I'm sure they could be, they're professionals and they'll do whatever it takes for the price of money, whatever that price is. But I knew down the line they're both former world tag team champions, and they're not going to be gophers for the champions. They're going to be gophers to go after the champion.
I agree with that, and who knows Williams and Gordy any better than Michael Hayes.
Gordy's... Oh, absolutely. I mean, if put it this way, if Bam Bam Gordy has an Achilles heel, Michael Hayes is going to know about it.
No kidding. Let's get to the phones, get a few calls while we have Jess on the line. Let's talk to Chris in Austell. You got a comment or question for Jesse the Body Ventura?
Yes, sir, Mr. Ross. How are you tonight?
I'm fine, and thanks for calling.
I'd like to know if Rick Rude won his match today at the Omni.
Yes, Rick Rude did win his match at the Omni today.
I heard that was a little controversial as well.
Well, I'll just say this. It could be. It got very confusing at times because, Medusa was banned from the building, and an incident took place with a security guard, and that's all I'll say.
And we, the fans can make their own conclusions as they see that on television, but that feud is far from over, as they say. Let's talk to Aaron in Atlanta. Aaron, you're on Wrestling with Jim Ross and Jesse the Body Ventura.
Hello, Mr. Ross. How you doing today?
Good.
Jesse Ventura, I want to ask you, why did you leave AF and what took you so long to come to another organization as a broadcaster? I respect you as a broadcaster, and you do great work.
Thank you.
And his question is, why did you leave the WWF, and why did it take you so long to get here, I guess?
Well, I left the WWF mainly over a marketing problem. I mean, I own the rights and the registered trademark to my name, and I went out and registered it, and the WWF took exception to that. And so it's that simple as that. We parted company. Why it took me so long to get here to WCW, that I guess you'd have to ask the former heads of WCW. I don't know. I was out there, and I love wrestling. It's what I wrestled for 11 years, and it was a tough year and a half to sit outside this great sport and look at it as an observer, and I'm just happy I'm here with the World Championship Wrestling now.
Let's talk to Sue in Powder Springs. Sue, you're on AM 750 WSB, Wrestling with Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura.
Hi, Mr. Ross. Hi, Jesse. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Okay. I just want to say first, Jesse, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I've never seen you in person. I've been a fan for years, but it is a pleasure to finally get to talk to you, and maybe I can see you in person sometime.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, what is the World Wrestling Federation? How come they promote wrestling like a circus?
That's their style. I can't, that's the WWF. That's the style they've developed into. And, it's their choice, I guess, to go that way. I prefer the wrestling style that WCW is offering right now. And it's a more athletic style and maybe a little less of the glitz and glamour, but that's cool, too, because I'll provide the glitz and glamour.